Good evening. Welcome to Open Range. I'm Perry Schumacher. In tonight for Gary Emineth on my weekly Wednesday show. Tonight I have District 47 Representative and good friend of mine, Mike Motschenbacher from Bismarck. How are you?
Good. How about you, Perry?
Good. How are you handling the heat in Bismarck? It's nearly 100 or over 100 every day, isn't it?
Well, I think yesterday was 100 again. Today is supposed to be 100. This weekend, I think it was like 105 and 107. I might have to go down to Arizona to cool off here a little bit.
Yeah, good point. Mike is also a co-host with me on the Due North Political podcast that we do every couple of weeks. You enjoying that so far, Mike?
Oh, that's been a hoot. I tell you, I get a fairly decent amount of comments about it too. People text me and call me and but they're pretty complimentary, saying that they like the subject matter we cover and the guests that we bring on. They like the format and that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I've enjoyed doing it.
Okay, so serious questions for serious people. That's why you're a friend of mine, because you're a serious person. Um, let's start locally. The governor came out recently. Uh, I don't know, kind of to my surprise, I guess, because he did it forcefully. Came out against Measure Two. Uh, what are your thoughts on that? Were you surprised? Did you know that was coming? Or
Well, I didn't know it was coming, but it doesn't surprise me at all. The measure two is the school lunch measure,
yeah,
and the that's been in front of the legislature, I don't know, three or four times now, and it's failed every single time. And the during the special session, they had a vote that was in response to the I guess you want to say to the threat of a measure at the time, whatever it is, they were collecting signatures, which would have at least, kept the control, by the legislature, but it would have funded the school lunches, basically mirroring the measure that we're going to vote on in November, except it wouldn't have been in the Constitution. So there was a lot of people that voted in favor of that one. In fact, I think it passed in the House, but then just narrowly failed in the Senate. So, but the majority of those people, well, not the majority, but a good number of them that voted in favor of that bill had been voted not in favor of it over the past few sessions. So I think it's not that they're necessarily in support of the measure, even the ones that voted in favor of it. I just think they thought it was I guess, lesser of two evils at the time, I think might be the best way to put it.
is it
So
fair? Is it
I would assume the governor has been against this the entire time.
Well, I don't remember him saying it during the session. Do you, or did I miss that he was against it?
I don't think, yeah, I don't think the governor said anything during the special session for or against.
Yeah, it was a positive for me that he came out, and I hope he, like I said, he's got the biggest microphone in the state, so I hope he continues down that road. Do you think he'll influence any of those legislators that voted for it? You know, it just narrowly was defeated. So do you think having the governor now coming out strongly against it, will that change any minds of some of the district legislators?
I think if anything, it'll probably, some of the legislators that voted in favor of it during the special session, I guess it would make it easier for them now to oppose it since the governor is opposing it. I
Yeah.
think, nobody wanted to be the first person to come out and be against it, but now that the governor has done that, I think he will get, more of the legislators that voted in favor of it feeling safe to now come out against it since the governor did. I mean, that's just an assumption, of course, but I do think you'll see, more of them, come on board and agree with the governor on that.
Just for the audience sake, let's state where you stand on it.
Oh, I'm going to vote against it also. I might have different reasonings than the governor does, but my two biggest concerns is that this is a constitutional measure, meaning that this is going to be in the Constitution for the next 100, 200, 300 years, until someone would reverse it for whatever reason. And that I just don't think the Constitution is meant for mandatory spending. It's a framework. It's not, where you're supposed to put spending. And the other reason I am against it at this point. And like I've said before, Perry, nobody wants any kids to be starving. I certainly don't. That's the last thing anybody wants. But right now, under the programs that the legislature has done now, there are no kids that are going hungry because of legislative inaction. I mean, all the tools are there for them to get their free or reduced meals. They just have to choose to take them. So you can spend 10 million, 20 million, now whatever it is, and if the kids aren't eating at that point, you can spend 130 million, they're still not going to eat it. It's kind of the, lead a horse to water, mentality, but you can't make them drink. So, I mean, there's no reasoning right now where any child that needs a meal in the school system will not be provided one. So we're basically addressing an issue that doesn't exist. So, I mean, that's my two issues with it. And um, plus, my guess my third issue is that I don't like the fact that they're using the legacy fund as a backstop for it. Because the legacy fund is supposed to be basically the state's 401k. It's supposed to be there for our kids and grandkids, and that's what it was stated as. Is this is the future of the state. It's not supposed to be, we're not supposed to be rating it now. So I don't think the legacy fund should be the backstop as, as
Mike,
far as how to fund it.
do you think this is another case of, how liberals like to never let a crisis go to waste? Are they creating a crisis here that does, like you said, doesn't exist?
I I don't know for sure. I don't even know if this is really can be labeled as a liberal, it, it probably certainly fits, some of their ideologies and stuff, but um I don't know if this is a creating and I know what you're talking about. What was it, Harry Reid, I think? Was he the senator that said never let a good a good tragedy
I
go
think
to
it
waste,
was
whatever it was? Yeah.
Rob Emanuel, right? Rob Emanuel, the
Oh, yeah, that might have been who it was. So
yeah.
that's I don't know. I can't state for sure if that's what it is.
Now the big battle is going to be all the out-of-state money that comes in on advertising and pushing this measure, right? That's where the battle is going to come down to, and can our side get out in full force and speak out against this and match that that money that's going to be spent on this measure?
Well, yeah, and as usual, like you mentioned, we're up against out-of-state dollars again, which I mean, Perry, has been one of my pet peeves over the past several years. Is, you have these big out-of-state organizations spending hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars to change North Dakota's constitution. And, I looked up the filings just a couple days ago to see who's pushing the measure and who's spending money on it. And the biggest spender. I think they had like $600,000 spent so far was a group out of Washington, D.C. Once again, called I think it's called the Freedom Project or something along that line, or Fairness Project is the Fairness Project is what they were. And you look who they are, and yeah, they are definitely a left-leaning organization that is brags about going into other states and changing their constitution and doing initiative measures everywhere. So, once again, here we are. It's being pushed by out-of-state dollars, which is another kind of some more heartburn that I have. And I'd rather North Dakota's changes the constitution rather than out-of-state interests doing so.
Now, this has a danger of creating a portal. You always wonder what's coming next. I think Leon said it in one of our podcasts that, so then this gets created, this gets in the Constitution. And all of a sudden we have government run by constitutional measures, right? Amendments to the Constitution, and it kind of takes away the need for a legislature.
That's funny you say that, Perry, because I just had a conversation with another legislator about that the other day. And they were saying too, like, why? I mean, if we just send everything to the ballot box, why do we need a legislature? It, like, well, I mean, it's a good point. It's a valid point, but that goes back to that somehow, some way that we need to build trust in our elected officials, and I think that's why you see some of these things, not all of them, but um, I'll stand behind the legislature all the time. I mean, I work with these people all the time, and they're good people. They have the best interest of the taxpayers in their mind, and overall they do a great job. And it's just a perception issue. I think that's difficult to change.
So you're on the ballot in November. We'll finish this first segment. You and a couple other people from District 47 talk about the campaign and how things are going there and what your, maybe events that you have or concerns or.
Well, we just met last week to get some, work on some print material, and we've already have our signs ordered and everything. We had them out prior to the primary election, and we have probably about 10 times that many signs you'll see out before the general
Oh,
election. But
wow.
we're working on the print material and such, and so you're going to see in the next month or month and a half, you'll see a lot of that when the campaign really goes active. And we're doing a little bit of fundraising right now, and but yeah, you'll see it really start to take off here pretty quick. But we didn't have any primary opponents, but we do have a full slate of Democrat candidates that's running against us in November. So we're certainly not going to take them for granted, even though we live in a pretty red district. We're going to go out there and meet the people and do a lot of walking, and we will have some events, so that'll come up soon.
Is it true that things just start taking off after Labor Day? Is that how you guys kind of look at it briefly?
I would say yes, Perry. You don't want to do it too early because then people forget about it and you're kind of wasting your money. I think 6 to 8 weeks prior to the elections when you're going to see it hit hard, and that would put it right at about Labor Day.
Okay, folks, we got to go to break number one. We'll be back with 47 after the break. Please join us.
Stop out to our facility, Highway 22 South. Let us build a truck for you.
Find relief for what ails you at Steep Me Tea Apothecary. Teas, supplements, tinctures, and more. Formulated to fight whatever has you down. We're Bismarck Mandan's favorite place to find delicious, natural, and easy ways to alleviate symptoms brought on by anything from colds to cancer. Brew a better you at Steep Me Tea Apothecary. Steep Me products may cause side effects, including but not limited to improved mood, deeper sleep, enhanced hydration, renewed sense of smell, increased energy levels, superior balance, boosted immunity, proper digestion, restored sense of calm, and a delightful smelling home.
Welcome to Arrowhead Cleaners. Newly renovated, modernized, and ready to make your cleaning needs hassle-free. From commercial and residential wash and fold laundry services to the latest in professional dry cleaning techniques, we are dedicated to your unique needs, offering alterations, fabrications, and even custom hat making. So whether you're a busy professional, a family on the go, or even a rodeo champion, Arrowhead Cleaners is here to take your things from messed up to dressed up. Now celebrating our 64th year in Arrowhead Plaza.
Welcome to Radiant Retreat Tanning and Spa in Mandan, where a relaxing spa experience meets the latest in healing innovations. Take total control of your massage in our Hydro Massage Bed. Experience whole body healing in our Zero Body Cryo Bed. Let our salt sauna and halo generator restore your respiratory and skin health. And of course, tailored tanning will keep you looking as good as you feel. Discover your best self at Radiant Retreat, 1307 1st Street Northeast, Mandan.
Are you dealing with arthritis, nerve and back pain, dry skin, or superficial wounds, but found no relief? Give Stewart's Natural Health a try. For over 4 decades, Stewart's Natural Health has been helping people and animals with herbal and natural oil lotions, ointments, and creams with a mission to help you relieve pain and feel your best using the power of nature. Discover the safe, drug-free solution to your pain, guaranteed or your money back. Visit stewartsnatural.health today.
West River Equipment of Mandan is here to help you maintain peak productivity in your operation. As an authorized dealer for many high-quality equipment lines, we have the new and used equipment it takes to make your farming, ranching, or construction operation profitable and efficient. West River Equipment also has the parts on hand and the experienced technicians in our shop to get your equipment back in action fast. Find what you need at West River Equipment on Old Red Trail in Mandan.
back to Open Range. I'm Perry Schumacher, West Fargo. I've got my buddy Mike Motschenbacher from Bismarck, Mike's District 47 representative. Mike, we're on to serious questions, okay?
Okay.
Justice Elena Kagan and Amy Comey Barrett each testified a couple weeks ago about the need for additional security because of the threats the justices face due to their rulings. You could see on each justice's face how visibly shaken they were by the experiences they've had. There's no right or wrong answer to this, Mike, but do you think subconsciously these threats against them may affect their decisions?
Well, it's hard to look into the mind of a Supreme Court justice, of course, but I mean, I'd say it's certainly possible, and we really live in different times now, and it's really sad, that these justices can't live a normal life outside of their day job. And I question all the time. I wonder if these people, can they go to church, or can they go to the grocery store, or can they go to a movie or whatever without, constantly having to look over their shoulders? And we really need to get a handle on this crime problem we have in the country, and start putting away some of these career criminals, because I think now, with the soft on crime policies we seem to have everywhere, these people just feel bold enough to go out and just commit these crimes, knowing that there's a really good chance they're going to be let out without any repercussions or anything. But I mean, this is a serious problem we have, and I mean, no elected official should have to go through this. And I don't know if you saw, Perry, but probably, I suppose, 3 or 4 weeks ago, there was a poll done or whatever, and they polled, conservatives, and they polled liberals, and they said, do you think violence is justified against Alaska? You saw that poll.
Yeah.
Wasn't it something like almost 50%
Yeah.
of young liberals, I think between 15 and 25 or something like that, said that it's okay? I mean, so you got half the country's young population saying it's fine for political violence is justified. I mean, nobody should have to go to work every day and have to look over their shoulder thinking they're going to get assassinated or beat up or whatever. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Well, you remember the Kavanaugh hearings and how, I mean, it was rabid. It was like people had rabies. I mean, it was bad, and you wondered, these justices, do you think that's just going to go away after you won the nomination? It's just for show then. And the reason I brought the question up is because a lot of people that supported Comey Barrett are flabbergasted by her decisions. I did some research, asked Grok, and it said on if you take away the decisions of the Supreme Court where it's 8-2 or something like that, 9-1, if you don't count those, she's only a 50% supporter of Trump's decisions that go in front of the Supreme Court. So it's got people wondering how they got her so wrong. You know what I mean? And you could see on her face, and it's sincere, and I entirely understand. Like you said, it's unnecessary. It's disgusting, but it you could see it's gotten to her. Now, I don't know that it's affected her decisions, but it's gotten to her.
Well, it is effective in cases, and that's probably why they continue to do it. If you put enough pressure on someone like that and threaten violence against your family and friends and whatever, I mean, I could see how that. I wondered. You remember the first decision, major decision where John Roberts, kind of jumped to the other side, was during the Obamacare. Remember, they're trying to see if that was constitutional, and people were just flabbergasted. Like, well, we thought he was going to be on our side, but he came up with that, reasoning that it's a tax, so it's constitutional. So I mean, that was the first one I really questioned, and now it seems to be I'm questioning several more on a regular basis. So I wonder what's changing, and that it could be the threat of political violence. I'm not sure, but it's a possibility. It's certainly there.
Do you think that regarding these threats, we'd ever see a justice resign because they're just so intimidated? And then like you said, what does that say? I guess the left would go and look at that like a victory, right?
If they would resign, yeah, I think they would. I mean, they'd be jumping up and down in the streets if that happened. But I I think, eventually one of them's going to be killed, or beat up when they're out or something like that. Something's going to happen, and it's just a matter of time if they don't have 24-hour security with them all the time now. But if that happens, that's going to probably change the political landscape, and you might have some people saying this just isn't worth it. I'm not going to put my family in jeopardy or my life in jeopardy to do this. So I do think once someone is seriously injured or killed, then yeah, you might have a few people start to back off.
When we were young, it was Bork, if I remember correctly. Bork and Thomas, I guess, went through hell. Bork didn't get nominated because of it. Thomas was a show. I remember Ted Kennedy at those times, and it's almost like I think it's gotten worse. The Kavanaugh thing was the most, and that's why I'm so anti-liberal, because what I saw, what they did to that person, whether I agree with him or not as a justice, but how they attacked him and made things up, I'll never forget it, and I'll never forget that side is capable of that.
Well, the thing that I kept kind of shaking my head at is they kept referring back to a supposed incident, whether it happened or not, I don't know, I wasn't there, but when he was, what, 16 years old, I think is what, that's the only thing they had on a guy. I mean, if the only thing you have on somebody was, is something that he may have done when he was 16 years old, but there's no proof, that's probably a pretty good politician. How many people, how many, anybody in the population doesn't have one or two or three skeletons in their closet? I mean, everybody's gonna have done something dumb in their life. There's very few of us that are, approaching sainthood. So if that's the only thing they could come up with, I mean, that's a pretty good guy in my opinion.
It's concerning, and I hope the best for him. I hope Congress takes it seriously. We don't need people's lives threatened, like you said. Let's go to topic 2 here. This may go over into the next session or the next segment, but early August is the end of the primary season. We talked about it in the last segment. You're running for election. Then it's midterm elections in November. Immediately after, positioning for the next president begins. Can you believe it? We're going to be talking about who is going to come after Trump. Do you think the Republican primary is going to be legitimate, or is it just whoever the Pope there, Trump, endorses, and that's all that matters?
I think it's going to be legitimate for
You
sure.
do?
I think it's going to be very highly contested. You got guys like, Ted Cruz, I'm sure is going to run. Rubio and Vance, of course, are more than likely going to run. Rand Paul might. I'm thinking Doug Burgum is probably going to take another shot at it. Ron DeSantis, he's term limited out in Florida, so I'm sure he will. So you're gonna have a good chunk. I bet you'll have 8 or 9 people for sure that are going to be coming out to run for that. And you know what? I have a feeling, this is just a guess, I have a feeling that Trump is not going to make an endorsement in
Really?
that. I just think he's going to stay out of it. I think he's paved the road for, who he thinks, either JD or Marco, whichever one. I think he's paved the road and he's going to say it's time for you to, choose your brand, choose your, who's going to follow you and support you, and you need to run with it. I really think he's going to stay out of it. Now, that's not like Trump, though.
No,
Trump doesn't stay out of anything, right? But I mean, I guess if I was a political strategist and I was out in DC, I would be advising the president just stay out of it. Your endorsement could help some, but it also could hurt. So maybe let's just let them, like I said, create their own brand and see who comes to the top. And then after, we have our nominee, then Trump can get behind him and, say, hey, this is a good person. Let's move forward with this person. But I have a feeling he's going to stay out of this one. And I could be completely wrong, but
well, I'm going
we'll
to take
see.
the opposite side. I wish you were right, but I'm taking I don't think he can help himself. And it'd be best if it was just a battle royale and the best man win, and he sits on the sidelines and then he endorses whoever wins and puts his weight behind it. But I don't think he can do that. Like Glenn Beck had said recently, he'd spoken to Trump, and Trump said, I can't fix this all in this second term. This battle is too big. This ship is too big to turn around. I need 3 terms, and I think that's why he's going to. It's either Vance or Rubio. In my eyes, he's going to come out I think it's Vance because he picked him as vice president, and he's going to endorse him and say, we need him for terms 2 and 3 of this 3 cycles that I need. And that's where I just don't think the man can help himself. He has to do that.
No, I know he likes to have his fingers in everything for sure. And I don't know, maybe since we're on the opposite sides of this, Perry, we should put
a wager.
We put probably. I'm gonna write this down and put it on my calendar here after the primary, or not the primaries, the endorsing conventions are over. Let's see how we put a steak dinner on this and see what happens.
That's a good idea. Do you think, as an aside, who do you think are the Democrat leaders in the clubhouse, so to speak, nationally? You see all these DSA you got Ocasio-Cortez and people, and even the old man from Maine there is out there, Bernie Sanders. He's out politicking pretty hard for DSA candidates. I've seen some instances, Mike, that say Bernie Sanders is going to be the candidate. Where do you come down on?
Bernie, I think, is like 84 years old. I mean, it's probably time to move beyond, the boomer generation and maybe let the next, generation of politicians come in here and try something. And but from the Democrat side, there's probably 4, but if AOC gets it, I mean, that's something I pray for every day, because I don't think she would have a chance. But I guess the front runners, I mean, they almost probably have to run somebody like Andy Beshear, is one that I thought from Kentucky. He's a little bit more of a moderate. Shapiro from Pennsylvania, but he's Jewish, which I think was what cost him the vice presidency last time. But he seems like a fairly moderate, well-spoken, and well-liked individual in Pennsylvania. I mean, if they want to win, I think those are the ones you have to go with. But I think I just saw a poll that said Kamala Harris is leading the pack again. But I mean, do you think they'd go back to that again? I don't know.
It's gonna be interesting. I just think these DSA these White Walkers from Game of Thrones fame are they're gonna be dangerous, folks. We got to go to break number 2. We'll be back with Mike, my buddy Mike, for the 3rd segment. Please join us.
Base Flug Trailers of Dickinson is a family-owned dealer with expert staff that know their products front to back. We stock over 150 units of all types and can custom order a trailer with the unique features and capabilities you require for brands you can trust. Our experienced service team is the reason we're also the best place to have your trailer customized or repaired. Count on Base Flug Trailers of Dickinson to keep you hauling.
Come on in and experience small-town hospitality and the personalized care that makes car buying a pleasure.
We know that every journey starts with the right car. Whether it's school drop-off, weekend road trips, or your daily commute, we have the right vehicle for you and your family.
With trusted brands, affordable prices, and a team that treats you like family, finding your next car has never been so easy.
We pride ourselves on personal attention and quality service. Beset Motors, where our customers send their friends.
Yeah, U.S. Cattlemen is a member organization that each member has a vote in anything we do with policy. We're representing the independent cattleman or the cow-calf guy or an independent feeder or whatever. We like to support the independent producer. We're talking about mandatory ID, we're talking about cool, we're talking about all the legislation that's going to be coming down with the new administration. There's going to be lots of moving and shaking. So always check us out at our website, uscattleman.org.
We're talking to people today about investments. Let's see if we can get somebody. Excuse me, sir. Do you have a retirement account?
I do. I'm invested in some annuities.
Fixed income? How is that?
It was better a few years ago. Each year, it buys less and less, barely keeping up.
That's where gold can make a difference. Unlike fixed payouts, gold rises with inflation, so you're not stuck with a low fixed payment.
So gold isn't stuck in the past like my annuity?
Don't let inflation erode your retirement savings. Invest in gold. Invest with Noble Gold Investments.
I'm $27,000 in credit card debt.
Okay.
You have to radically do something different, because if you keep doing what you've been doing, you're going to keep getting what you've been getting.
Now's not the time to be doing math. The time to be doing math was when we didn't go into $200,000 of debt.
If you are freaked out and you're stuck in these debt payments and you think it has to be a part of your life, it doesn't.
We are ladies of another view. Join us every weekday morning at 9 o'clock a.m. as we discuss the big topics from North Dakota, the nation, and around the world.
We chat with everyone from celebrities and medical professionals to politicians, local business owners, and neighbors about the topics and stories that affect all of us.
We are unscripted and uncensored real news from real people. So join us every weekday morning for Ladies of Another View on Beck.
Welcome back to Open Range. I'm Perry Schumacher. In with me tonight is Mike Motschenbacher from Bismarck. Mike, how long have we known each other?
Got to be years? Close to 20 years now?
15, 20 years. Yeah, it's been a while.
I think it was, what, 2008, was it?
Something like that.
2009, somewhere in there.
So, yeah, we met on the back of a pickup.
Up by the post office, right?
Yes, in Bismarck, yeah. Long time ago. Life has changed since then. I've got less hair, and I know you do too.
And we both put on a little bit of weight, I think, 2 cents.
Mike, let's start with topic 3 here. President Trump did a primetime speech about election interference by China. 220 million voter registrations were stolen. He also detailed findings of our own government kept information and potential voter fraud from him. The press immediately told us there was nothing to see here, just normal everyday stuff. Voting is as pure as the North Dakota snow. Then, ironically, this happened. Governor Mike Sherrill, you'll see on the screen, of New Jersey, says that the motor vehicle registration led to 6,600 people, non-citizens, getting put on the voter rolls. I wonder why it was only 6,600. If the program has a problem, you'd think it'd be everybody that was a non-citizen. You wouldn't think a program could pick and choose. But anyhow, Mike, are we just supposed to ignore common sense here and trust what the media and elites tell us, that there's not a single problem with the voting?
Well, I think the media, at least several of them anyways, have discredited themselves when it comes to some of this stuff. You're seeing more and more stuff come out that they've said is fake or not real, and now that it's starting to come out and be proven, they're not even admitting their mistakes. But my biggest surprise about this one was when this Mikey Sherrill even admitted it. When I saw this come out, I fell back in my chair. Like, I can't believe they're actually admitting it, because how long, Perry, we've been told that there is no unauthorized people voting in our elections. It's been maybe many years now. And, I have great confidence in North Dakota's elections. I think they're fair. You saw both Secretary of State candidates, both Democrat and Republican, agree with that here just recently here. But what do we have? We have New Jersey, Georgia, was it Michigan or Wisconsin? I can't remember which one. And like 2 or 3 other states that I know I just saw that are all now starting to show some, they call them irregularities in their voter rolls. So now we have some proof. And, and like Mickey Sherrill said here, that New Jersey actually allowed non-citizens to vote after being told that it wasn't happening. This should be raising some eyebrows, shouldn't it, Perry? Or, you said, are we supposed to look the other way? There's nothing to see here. But why is it instantly that your CBS, your ABCs, your CNNs, their job is not to predetermine what the president's speech is going to be about and not cover it. They didn't even air it.
Yeah. Right.
So they're already assuming what is going to be said, and they're choosing not to cover it. But what if Trump came out and said, hey, we found the cure to cancer, and we want everybody to know? Is the press just going to leave that one alone too and not give him any credit for it because it was maybe under a program that he created or something? Or no, that's the frustrating part. Is I really would just love to, trust the media And to the point right now where I'm in the trust but verify, where I have to verify everything that the media is telling me. And so yeah, everyone should be a little bit leery about what they're hearing, because it seems like every news station out there is going to include their slant and, include their opinions on everything. Just shut up and report what happened and let us all make our decisions, based on our own views. And that's the thing that kind of gets me. But yeah, how many more states are going to come out and say, "Oh, well, I guess we did have some non-citizens vote in our last election." Well, you've been saying for years, nope, that doesn't happen. It's a non-issue. We don't need this Save America Act. But sorry, Perry, to go on a rant here. I sound a little bit like Leon here, but the what was I just going to say? Or now I kind of got off track. But
Well,
let's go. Let's go ahead. I'll get back to
let's
it.
start with this. So, Luke, put that back up. So, Governor Sherrill says that it's a glitch. The old software glitch, Mike, happens all the time. There's software glitches. Well, are you familiar with who John Solomon is? He's a reporter, investigative reporter.
Yeah, I remember John. Yep.
He posted. I reached out to the software company that runs the New Jersey voting system. There is no software glitch, the software company says. Never trust a Democrat, especially a politician, but never a Democrat. The old software glitch, it works every time. It's foolproof. Like, what is the 80% of the time it works 20% of the time or something like that? I mean, these guys just, it's just a built-in excuse. Go instantly to the software company.
But where's and this is another issue I have. Where's the investigative journalism on this? Okay, they said it's a software glitch. Okay, well, let's continue. I mean, good on John Solomon for doing, but okay, what is the software? Mickey Sherrill, can you please explain to me what is this software glitch? Give me more information. What happened? Give me details, and then you're eventually going to catch them, because they don't know. But like the software company said, there is no glitch. So that's where the investigative journalism went away how long ago? The only ones you have now, it seems to be, are your Nick Shirleys and those guys and that are actually out there on the street trying to report what's actually happening.
There might be 6 of those guys out there that actually investigate. You had mentioned, I think you were going that Slotkin thing where she said, I think she's a New York representative, but she said if
oh yes, actually that is where I was going to go with that. So you probably saw Alyssa Slotkin recently just say that if we pass the Save America Act, that it's going to be really difficult for Democrats to win any more elections. And when I heard that, I went like, "Oh, wait a second here. Okay, let's look at, why is it only Democrats are gonna have a tough time?" So the left side, you just told us that married women are going to have a tough time voting because they're going to have to change their last name on their driver's license or identification, whatever. And married women, the last time that I checked any polling, tend to vote Republican. So if we're disenfranchising married women, wouldn't that affect the Republican side too? Why is it only the Democrats that are going to be disenfranchised? So it's kind of, especially at this national level, they catch themselves in lies, and then they can't, they can't balance them all. They say this and this and this and this, and then something like that comes up and like, oh crap, I did say that here a few weeks ago. You forgot about it. No, now how do you get out of that? So no, you know what, if I don't think it is asking too much to just provide an identification to prove who you are. I mean, there's some states, Perry, you've seen that you can actually show up at the polls and you can vouch for the people you bring with you.
Minnesota's one of those, yes.
So you're saying, I mean, think about what you're saying with that, Perry. You're saying that, yes, I'm bringing these 10 people with me, and yeah, they are exactly who I tell you they are.
Scout's honor.
I mean, that is so wrong. I mean, it has to be. It's so simple. I mean, Perry, you can't buy a car. You can't get a loan. You can't, open a bank account. You can't even get into a bar without showing some sort of identification. So
Well, I think
why?
you can't even get all you can eat pasta we saw last week at Olive Garden.
And you can't get into the Obama presidential library without an identification, right? Remember? So I don't know how they continue to go on this road.
Also, Trump administration is wanting voter registration logs from the entire country, every state, so that they can prove actually, do these people exist? Are they alive? Things like that. And all the Democrat states, all the blue states won't turn those over.
Right.
Another coincidence. They must be worried about software glitches at the federal government that could potentially expose these things.
Yeah. Well, where is the software company? Why don't they come out and put out a message on Twitter, and link her to it and say, no, there is no software glitch. What are you talking about?
Because then they won't have the New Jersey business. So it's better to just keep quiet and keep the receipts coming in. And then now, Mike, let's go to the last thing in this segment. We could be California and take 6 months to count it all too when it's done, right?
Are they still counting out there? I tried looking it up last night and I couldn't find anything, but I haven't heard any official results come out.
I haven't heard it. I think a lot of people have assumed the winner, but I don't know that they've officially named the winners. But regardless, if it shouldn't take, a serious country should not take more than 3 days to count the votes.
Well, I wonder
do it everywhere else.
But what would happen, Perry? Let's just say one of these races came within the margin of error where they can demand a recount. And now we have to do it all over again? Are we going to wait 2 more months? I mean, how can Florida have their official results out 2 hours after the election, and California it takes, 12 weeks? It just blows my mind.
We say it a lot, but we're not a serious country. And you look at what Florida did when you go from the Chads to now how they count votes, and a huge state that it is, two time zones, and they're able to get all the vote counts out in one night. And that should be replicated throughout the country. But there's certain states, and they happen to be colored blue, that don't want to do that.
Well, I'd love to hear why. I guess I've never asked any of them, but I could certainly reach out to some, but I have a feeling they won't give me an answer.
It's just easier to blame the software. Folks, we got to head to the last break. We'll be back with Perry's perspective after the commercial. Please join us.
That concept of deodorant and the concept of stinky man body, and really putting it into perspective of how you've come up with a product that is going to take care of that day in and day out.
That's right. Absolutely. Took a lot of work, a lot of formulations, a lot of process to make sure that we're making a product that actually stands up to the rigors of what guys do on a daily basis. And, I feel very confidently to say that we've delivered on that experience.
So we're in a time where we're more cognizant about the things we're putting in our body, and really more importantly, the things we're putting on our body. And aluminum has been a big part of deodorant and masking scent and all the different things for a number of years. You pulled that piece that's kind of been that, I don't want to say not healthy, but the piece that people really wanted to eliminate. You eliminated it and still come up with a really good product.
Welcome to Arrowhead Cleaners. Newly renovated, modernized, and ready to make your cleaning needs hassle-free. From commercial and residential wash and fold laundry services to the latest in professional dry cleaning techniques, we are dedicated to your unique needs, offering alterations, fabrications, and even custom hat making. So whether you're a busy professional, a family on the go, or even a rodeo champion, Arrowhead Cleaners is here to take your things from messed up to dressed up. Now celebrating our 64th year in Arrowhead Plaza. Are you dealing with arthritis, nerve and back pain, dry skin, or superficial wounds, but found no relief? Give Stewart's Natural Health a try. For over 4 decades, Stewart's Natural Health has been helping people and animals with herbal and natural oil lotions, ointments, and creams with a mission to help you relieve pain and feel your best using the power of nature. Discover the safe, drug-free solution to your pain, guaranteed or your money back. Visit stewartsnatural.health today.
Ashley, North Dakota is where life moves a little slower, but never gets dull. From hunting, camping, and fishing to safe streets where kids can be kids, this is the best of small town living. And Ashley offers everything you need, from healthcare to hardware to countless ways to stay active. Here, we've invested in our future with major upgrades to roads, parks, and education. Whether you're here for the day or here for life, you'll find Ashley's where you ought to be.
There's never been a better time to rediscover the style, reliability, and all-season, all-terrain fun of the all-new Nissan lineup at the new and improved Ryan Nissan. Whether it's the sleek and stylish Murano, the adventure-ready Pathfinder, or the reimagined, ready-for-anything 2026 Rogue, the all-new Ryan Nissan has the vehicle of your dreams at a price perfect for any budget. It's time to rediscover your passion for the road. It's time to rediscover the all-new Ryan Nissan, engineered to endure.
Welcome to the last segment of tonight's show. I'm Perry Schumacher, and I usually end the show, at least for the last several months, with Perry's perspective. Mike, you get to hear my rant, and I want to hear your opinion. You always have one.
I've heard a lot of your rants over the years.
Yes, you have. Now this is just number 100. Here we go. Last week I mentioned P.T. Barnum's line that a sucker is born every minute. The flip side is that millions of Americans don't take kindly to being played for fools. Gaslighting does not go just in one direction. It works like a two-sided coin. One side covers up the crime, and just as upsetting, the other side pretends to want to fix it. In both cases, the intellectually honest among us, who I include me and Mike, end up getting played for suckers. Right now, that coin is being flipped at the American public from every direction. Corruption runs through every level of government, federal, state, and local, and the gaslighting meant to hide it has become constant and overwhelming. It's pushed by the politicians we elect, by those we count on to expose the wrongdoing, and by the institutions we're told will finally hold people accountable. Newsrooms of every size play an integral part. We're living through a systemic deception on a nuclear scale. At the state level, Minnesota and California stand out. Stories of fraud are out in the open for anyone willing to look. So is the blatant unwillingness to actually stop it. At the federal level, especially since President Trump won in 2016, the interference has been exposed over and over. Federal agencies worked to keep critical information from reaching him, set him up, and aided his opponents. Intelligence was slow-walked or buried. It is deliberate interference of a duly elected presidency, of which much has been documented, with even more still buried, still awaiting sunlight. This past week, we learned more. President Trump declassified information showing that Chinese actors compromised or acquired 220 million American voter registration records, names, addresses, and party affiliations from multiple states. The largest known breach in U.S. election data history. This should have been a 5-alarm fire, national security story. Instead, NBC, ABC, and CBS refused to cover his speech. Those same networks spent years aggressively pushing the Russian collusion narrative, the COVID origins cover-up, and the claim of 51 intelligence officials that Hunter Biden's laptop was Russian disinformation. Selected coverage, selected outrage, but constant gaslighting in real time. We were told by the networks there was nothing to see. 220 million voter records taken by a foreign adversary with skin in the game, but our elections are supposedly fine. Corruption and fraud exist everywhere we look, except in elections. They're as secure as Fort Knox. As Merle Haggard said, "You're walking on the fighting side of me with its continual insulting of my intelligence." When corruption and fraud get in the water table, it gets into everything, including elections. Only a fool would think elections are the only thing that remain untouched. When citizens challenge voter fraud and irregularities in court before an election, the judge says, "You don't have standing." After the election, they say, "It's too late." Which one is it? Flip a coin. If full truth ever comes out, the entire free and fair election house of cards collapses. That's why the gaslighting never stops. 81 million votes, yeah, sure. A president can give a primetime address about massive Chinese election influence, and a week later, it's like it never happened. It is a complete dog and pony show. He could just have well been talking into the wind. Yada, yada, yada. Talk, talk, talk. So what? Any action of consequence is a pipe dream. Each side of the coin gets a speech, but the same people stay protected and nothing fundamentally changes. The only thing we can count on is that status quo will continue, gaslighting injected straight into our veins. The pilot light stays lit, awaiting the next sucker. Those of us who see the game being played know the Chinese didn't acquire those 220 million records just to send birthday cards. Flip the gaslight coin, heads or tails, either way we lose. Evidence be damned. Mike, do you ever get tired of being gaslit?
Well, yeah. By the way, you should either write a book or start a weekly column. That's very detailed and opinionated. But yes, but I would say I get sick of being, attempting to gaslight me. And the reason I say that is because I do, like we talked about in a previous statement, I take everything that I hear with a grain of salt, and I'm in the trust but verify category. So, if someone tells me this, like, okay, that sounds logical and reasonable, but I'm still going to verify it myself. And, I have found a couple news sites that I utilize that I trend to trust, but even those ones I still verify. So I really think everybody needs to do their own research on everything they hear rather than just believing everything that is shoved down their throat. And just so they have accurate information. And it's been proven over and over, like we talked about earlier, that media is just not reporting news anymore. They all of them have their own spin on it. And Barry, I don't know, how do you think if there was one station out there, one news outlet that just said, you know what, we're going to report exactly what happened today, and we're going to leave it at that. We're not going to put any blame on anybody. We're just going to tell you what happened. Do you think they would have a chance of succeeding, or do you think they'd get blown out of the water?
No, like I said last week, in my Perry's perspective, people love the National Enquirer, right? They love to hear, they like conspiracy. Part of the problem I had, and the point I'm making in this article is the flip of the coin is the lie happens on both sides. Like I said, the fraud that exists, they cover it up. And then the lie that they're going to fix it. So like this week, I even have an issue with Trump. He gets asked by a reporter, you gave this speech last week about China. Are you going to do anything again to them for their involvement stealing these 220 million voter records? And he says, well, it happened a long time ago. Well, what the hell did you give the speech for? You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's what caused me to, that answer caused me to write this. I'm being lied to on both sides. I can't take it. My intelligence, you're getting on the fighting side of me.
Well, that's why I asked Perry, is like, if someone who was out there was just going to report accurate news and without putting a spin on it, I asked if you think it would fail or it would succeed. And you mentioned the National Enquirer, and that's the point I was going to make with what I stated too, is that I think it would fail because I think most people are drawn to they need the spin. Okay, I want the one side of the spin, either on the right side or the left side, whatever it is, and that's the one I'm going to choose to follow. Because
let me ask you a question about that. Do you think it's more because it's self-validation that, okay, I'm right, or is it that they can point to somebody and say they're wrong?
Well, probably some of both on that. I think they do like the validation, like you said, and so they're confirming their thoughts and their opinions. But the other one is I just don't think it's entertainment. You've heard a million times, good news doesn't sell, right? It's the bad news that people tend to go to. And if you see, an article about grandma, Charlotte, who went ahead and baked an apple pie and gave it away to 4 or 5 people in the community, or you see a click over here where you go where 10 people are murdered on a subway. I mean, which one are most people going to click to? They're going to go to the one that's more controversial, and that's how the bad news sells. And it's where society is at now, and I don't know how to change it, but I'd love to see what happens. I'd love to see someone experiment with it. But I know, I mean, if you're starting a new media company, it's nearly impossible to get something off the ground without hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars to push something like that. And I don't know if it would be profitable. So I don't see it happening anytime soon.
So I have a skill, Mike. You probably, I can bring this back to blaming Democrats on your end. The biggest I don't know what the word would be, con, is that the Democrats can solve the economy. So we're in war with Iran here, and gas prices are fluctuating up and down. Folks, the biggest lie is that the green energy people are going to bring your gas prices down. I mean, seriously, you got to be smarter than that. The green energy people are going to bring your gas prices down. They hate gas. They want it as high as possible so you don't buy any. So realize that. They are the master gaslighters.
Well, and the thing about another thing about elections is, as you know, people just have short memories. And you remember, I mean, I don't have to, I remember what were we paying for eggs? A dozen eggs was like $6 or $7 and a dozen, whatever. And, there's several other items, in grocery stores that was just outrageous. Okay. And inflation was 8-9%, I think, for several months. Some of the highest inflation we've seen in the 21st century for sure. And it was unaffordable to live. And is that what we want to go back to? It's steadied under, Trump for the last 2 years. It hasn't gone down, but, some of the prices are back to at least reasonable. But do we want to go back to what we had under Biden? And that's where the people don't remember how bad it was under him and how bad the economy was. And, the stock market, was still going under, but it was all tech stocks. Everything else was flat. So you just have to, remember what it was like under the last administration before you cast your vote too.
I just know Perry's going to be dead and gone someday, and this country's still going to be talking about it. We have fair and equal elections. Florida's figured out how to do it. I wish the rest of the country would be able to. Mike, I want to thank you for joining me. We'll have you back every couple months. We always have good conversations. Thanks for being here tonight.
Yeah, appreciate you having me on again.
Have a good evening, everybody. Thanks for watching.
Hey y'all, it's Trent on the loose. I want to tell you, Lady Blue and I, we got a lot of miles together, but you know what? You and I got a lot of miles together as well. And all I want to do is bring to you the information on how we maintain a domestic supply of food and fuel for future generations. So I'm going to continue to travel the world and unearth the stories that make it possible that we can live in a free United States of America.
Hello, friends. This is Culture Crossroads. Join me, Andrew Southwick, and my co-hosts, R.C. Williams and Juliana Ormond, as we tackle the issues shaping America. From politics to pop culture, to faith, freedom, family, and the future. From a faith-based conservative perspective that you won't get anywhere else. We stand at the intersection of faith and freedom. This is Culture Crossroads. Culture Crossroads, Sundays at 5 p.m. Central on BET TV.
Come on in and experience small-town hospitality and the personalized care that makes car buying a pleasure.
We know that every journey starts with the right car. Whether it's school drop-off, weekend road trips, or your daily commute, we have the right vehicle for you and your family.
With trusted brands, affordable prices, and a team that treats you like family, finding your next car has never been so easy.
We pride ourselves on personal attention and quality service. The Set Motors, where our customers send their friends.